U.S. Army paratroopers assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 1st Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division, deploy from Pope Army Airfield, North Carolina. Elements of the Immediate Response Force mobilized for deployment to the U.S. Central Command area of operations in response to increased threat levels against U.S. personnel and facilities. The IRF and the All-American Division remain postured and ready to deploy in support of the National Command Authority. Being a U.S. soldier in a rapid response force can sometimes mean being sent halfway around the world in a day, with no time to say goodbye to those who remain. That's what happened to April Chamard when her husband, a member of the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, got the call. She was at home, babysitting the couple's 5 children while Chamard worked at the Healing Hands Day Spa, when he sent her a text message. He had to rush to the base. She wasn't sure if it was a training exercise or a troop deployment. Then she got another text message. "We're leaving tomorrow." She said her husband had been in the military since 2010 and had deployed to Afghanistan twice. But with previous deployments, the family had more time to prepare and say goodbye. U.S. troops deployed Saturday from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to Kuwait to serve as reinforcements in the Middle East amid heightened tensions following the U.S. killing of a top Iranian general. Lieutenant Column Mike Burns, a spokesman for the 82nd Airborne Division, told the Associated Press that the division's 3,500-strong Rapid Deployment Brigade, officially known as the Immediate Response Force, would deploy within days. The latest group of troops to deploy will join about 700 who departed earlier in the week, Burns said. The driveway at Fort Bragg was lined with combat gear and restless soldiers Saturday morning. Some tried to nap on wooden benches. Reporters saw others board buses. The deployment of additional troops reflects concerns about potential Iranian retaliation after Friday's drone strike. President Donald Trump ordered the airstrike near Baghdad's international airport. Reporters were unable to interview the soldiers leaving Fort Bragg on Saturday, but an airman loading one of the cargo planes told an Army cameraman that he was making New Year's plans when he got the call to help load the soldiers, according to video footage released by the military. "We were in charge of loading the cargo. Almost our entire squadron got the warning. It looked like a lot of planes were coming in here," the unnamed airman said. "I was getting ready to go celebrate New Year's when they called me." In the gray morning light Saturday, Army video footage showed soldiers in camouflage uniforms boarding the plane, carrying backpacks and rifles. The Humvees were loaded onto another cargo plane and chained in place for the flight to the Middle East. Burns said soldiers in the Immediate Response Force train constantly to be ready to respond quickly to crises overseas. When called by their superiors, they have 2 hours to arrive at the base with their gear and must maintain a state of readiness so they can be airborne to their next location within 18 hours. So whether they're on leave, whether they're at home drinking beer, whether they're hanging out throwing dice to the kids in the yard, you get a call and it's time to go, he said. He said soldiers typically keep separate bags of their personal gear at their residences. Chamard said Fayetteville is a tight-knit community, and he hopes people will come together to support families who have suddenly lost a parent. "This is really sudden," he said, urging people to reach out to families in the 82nd Airborne Division. Try to help anyone you know who might need babysitting or help, or just pick up groceries and bring them to their house. Similarly, Brianna Ferry's husband got a call on New Year's Eve, saying he was boarding a plane to the Middle East in a matter of hours. "It's not like military life. You usually get a heads up about what's going to happen," she said. She worries that her husband will miss important moments with their baby girl, including her first birthday, but also wants to